What's up, Scrubs? Welcome to another Fusion World video. Today we're doing a tier list for set 3, and I'm joined by Cody Vojtech. What's up, pal?
Hey, what's up, bud?
I use Krillin instead of Ginyu this time.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I want to preface this by saying this is like a lot of this is coming from a place where these have been extensively tested. So there is going to be some speculation here because I haven't been able to play as many games with some of these decks as I would like. So I'll be going a little bit speculative. But as far as like black is concerned, red is concerned, and I'll just say Broly and Piccolo for green is concerned, there was a lot of extensive testing on my end, and to the point where let me look here, because I have a spreadsheet with my matchups and games. I have 133 Bardock games.
Jeez.
So I have a lot of data on that leader specifically. So that'll be the one I have probably the most set 3 intimate knowledge about, but I do have quite a bit of knowledge about the remainder of the set.
Yeah, so I have a total of like 4 or 5 total games played. So yeah, this is gonna be perfect.
Excellent.
I have my favorite leader though already though, so I'm excited about that.
We both do.
Yeah,
we both have our favorite.
Yeah. All right, let's just jump right into it. We're gonna start with the old favorite, starter coup. Old reliable. Yep.
Okay, really quick before we continue, what is our locals level tier? Like, what is our tier that we'd say that you could take this and win locals, even with people playing like S tier decks?
Oh, like I mean, even C or D is fine. So like, I like to we're ranking them obviously from like Z through F, but I think every deck is playable besides like F tier. But like, you can take anything D and above to locals and like be fine.
Okay, I think with that being the case, I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, very strong opinion, I think starter coup is a C tier deck.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, it didn't really gain a whole lot from this set. Like, Jiren's kind of cool. Like, it gives you some form of card advantage. The lower end cards didn't really help him. He doesn't want to put like Casserole and the surplus of Pride Troopers in his deck. So I mean, he didn't personally like gain much. And he has anti-synergy with the new 3-drop Goku that came out, because you can't like get the on attack draw with just like your leader existing. So
Yeah.
I think for that reason alone, he got like a little bit of a bump with some card advantage off Jiren, but I don't think he gained anything. So I think he's like a C tier deck.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. I mean, even if a deck doesn't gain something from the new set, they can still be like competitive. Like, yeah. Look at Frieza from last set. Yeah, they gained like Bulma, but they didn't gain as much as like everything else did, and it was still really good.
I mean, they gained Bulma, they gained Vegeta, they got quite a bit of stuff last
Just
set.
not as much as everyone else did.
Yeah.
But that's just what I mean. Yeah. All right. Starter crew's out of the way. I feel so bad that this is C tier. Went from Z to C in 2 sets.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. We got another Goku that we can play.
All right. Next we have Vegeta, the blue one.
I want to hear your thoughts on this before I tell you, because my take on blue Vegeta is a little spicy.
Interesting. So I think this is just a solid B tier leader.
B.
Yeah, I think it's B. I think it's quite good, but like not as good as the A and S, obviously. I think it's perfectly fine. I don't think it's going to be as good as the other blue leaders that I'm really excited for, but I think it's perfectly fine.
I think it's an A tier deck.
Really?
I think I think he's like the lower end of A, but he's definitely still an A tier deck. So the things that he gained this set was he gained immense card advantage, like all blue decks gained. But the thing that Vegeta is really good at is the leader is like basically generating additional card advantage, because he just swings for 35. So when you're getting like all these free cards and you're already swinging for essentially a super combo just to answer your leader, and we've got more aggressive cards we can play, like 4-drop Gohan's a big help for Vegeta, because now he doesn't have to think about like, oh, I need to sickle. I can just play 4-drop Vegeta. Now I get a 35 and a 30, instead of before it would have just been sickle and a 35k. He gained a lot this set. I think that he's still very powerful. I think if you're still a big fan of blue Vegeta, you're loving this set. He got a lot. I think he's still an A tier deck. He's still going to be good. People are still going to top with him. He had a lot of breakout tops in set 2. Even during the heyday of Toppo, this man was still getting tops. So, I mean, just something to think about. Vegeta is quite good. And I think he gained. He didn't lose. He gained in set 3. So I still think he's going to be a deck that you're going to see a lot of.
How has your matchup in testing been with the other blue leaders with Vegeta?
very good. Like Vegeta's been fine. I think most of the blue leaders are actually close, with the exception of Goku Black, Womp Womp.
I know, bad.
But except one, I think one blue leader is definitely standing currently above all the other ones.
Yeah.
But I think like Vegeta and even spoiler alert later, I think Fuse Zamasu are both going to be A tier decks.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We'll put him at the low A. Well, I mean, right now it's the only A, but I'll put him at
Yeah.
low A for now. Broly is next. Now, so let me just start.
Yeah.
Playing against your Broly deck, I think this deck's gonna be great.
Okay, so I'll also say this. I think the tanky version of Broly will be very good. I don't think many people are like onto it or know how to play it right yet. Because I mean, I was talking to some people and I was like, "Oh, to just play Yema," and they're like, "Why would I play this card? It sucks." No, Yema's actually
Yema's so good.
This deck is quite good. I wanna say this will be like an A tier deck, but I'm really leaning towards like the very top of B or like the bottom of A.
I'm with you. I think it's very top of B, like B plus plus. I think this deck is going to be really good.
If you're good with this deck, like if you play like the tanky version of this deck and you're good with it, you could win an event with this. Like I'm not kidding. This deck could get there.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, at some point in one of our games, I just felt like I couldn't win, and like you only had like 6 mana, and yeah, we had 1 life. It was crazy.
And it's just like that's it. It's just no way to win.
Yeah, it just got really hard all of a sudden. All right, next we got Frieza.
I'm gonna come out and say it. Frieza and Yellow Vegeta are both S tier decks. They're both S tier. They're essentially the same deck.
Hold on.
For the most part.
Hold on. So I agree that Frieza is going to be very good, but
yeah.
Did you say what?
Yellow Vegeta and Frieza are both going to be S tier decks.
All right, I'm gonna have to ask about Yellow Vegeta later, but yeah, I agree with Frieza. Frieza's very good.
Yeah.
So the reason why I like Frieza a lot is just like you play Buu, and Buu just never dies because it's never going to be attacked because you can just untap it. And you just have like all the other things too. Right? Yeah, you don't even care if they attack it either, but you don't have to waste cards if they do kill it, I think Frieza's going to be very good. Frieza's just probably one of the best generic leaders in general.
Frieza's fantastic. There's
very good.
Definitely the one that I think we both like missed and set too, but our rating was when Toppo was at full power, and like we never got asked afterwards what we thought. Like Frieza was definitely like bad when Toppo was at full power, but he's like as soon as the Toppo hit came, he was significantly better.
We did do it after Toppo tier list, and I think we put him in B. But yeah, that was incorrect.
That was definitely the biggest miss I think of our last set. Was like I was still thinking that it was going to be like people just playing a lot of red, and if everybody was like on Beerus, he would have been like a B tier deck if everybody was still playing Beerus, but like people moved away from red, and like started playing like androids and stuff, and then as soon as you do that, he gets significantly better. So big miss from us, but I think that I'm not going to even take the chance anymore. He's just too good. He's an S tier leader.
All right, I'm going to call that your biggest miss because my biggest miss is next.
Oh yeah.
And that's U7 Goku. This has become like my favorite, if not like second favorite deck to play right now. I think this is just so much fun. And I was so wrong about it in the last tier list. I think I put it in like B or C. Like I was just so wrong. I love this deck so much. I don't know how good it's going to be, but I really just want to put it in A.
A is actually probably safe. Just gaining a 30k attacker that draws a card is a humongous boon to this deck.
Yeah, I think that card's insanely good in this deck.
Yeah, like the second it lives 1 turn, you're just burying your opponent in like immense advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't have removal for it, you're likely just going to win the game. He's still good. There's like nothing wrong. He's either like right next to Broly and B, or he's like low A. We haven't hit a high A deck yet, but we will soon, I think. But he is very good. I think U7 Goku still has a lot of things that are unique to him. Like the mid-range version, I think only got better with this next set.
Agreed.
I don't think the aggro version will be like as good. I don't think you gain anything for aggro this set, but gaining that 3-drop is a huge deal. And as we noticed, they're not really printing good generic cards for like starter coup to take advantage of. Like you could argue Jiren, but it's like whatever. I think that U7 Goku gained. He's really powerful. He's just a solidly good choice. Like I'm going to say he's one of the safest leaders you can play as long as you know how to play mid-range well.
He's the safest leader to play if you don't run into the next leader, ever.
Yeah, Beerus is really good.
Beerus is insane. And as a U7 fan, I just hate running into this deck. It just feels impossible.
No, I'm gonna come out and say it. It's really hard for me to put Beerus in S tier.
It's hard for you to put Beerus in S tier.
Yeah,
I think Beerus absolutely deserves it.
if we're talking set 2, I think he does. It's
I
gonna
think
be
he
harder
only.
to say.
I think he only kind of just.
Well, here's my problem, right? And I'll go out and this is like not really a big spoiler. I think blue's gonna be more predominant, and I think arguably the best deck in the set is blue. Like arguably the best deck in the format is blue.
Okay.
Beerus is awful into blue decks.
Yeah, that's
He used
true.
to be
That's
he
true.
used to be really good in a yellow, and that was like one of his biggest advantages was he just mollywopped yellow. But now yellow is a card he literally can't interact with.
Right.
And I think that those two things combined prevents him from being the like I'm just winning against like half of these decks being played that he was. I think he's still very good, but I have him at the top of A.
All right, I'm with
I
you.
don't think I don't think you got to move him the other way around. You remember you're doing left to right this time.
Yeah, I'm doing it this way this time.
So
I'm changing it. We're going right to left now. So this is top and this is bottom, right?
Okay.
Isn't that how the normal people do it?
Yeah. Okay,
Yep.
I just had to make sure.
Yeah, Beerus is just really frustrating to play against if you play any type of mid-range deck. And it's really frustrating. But yeah, top of A seems good. All right.
Yeah, I agree. I think top of A is where Beerus goes. I think he's fantastic there.
One of my other favorites to play last set.
Oh man,
I know.
I'm so sad about this. Why did he gain nothing in this set?
So yeah, just absolutely nothing. Which is weird because we got some like Trunks future cards in this set, which is like
we got
part of
random Trunks future card support, yeah.
But not anything for this. It's very weird.
Yeah, so Goku Black, he gained literally nothing from the set besides access to Videl and Gohan, which he's already going to struggle to fit into his deck.
Yeah.
Gohan, he can probably just get by with replacing Sickle and throwing Gohan in the deck, and then he has like a nasty card to play off the 6-drop. Goku Black will always have like, I'll put it this way, no matter what format we're in, Goku Black can be like a D tier deck, but if he hits the nuts, he's Z, and he's just better than you. That's just how the deck works. So even though Goku Black, I'm going to be saying Goku Black's like a C tier deck.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Iteration, obviously, if he hits the nuts, he beats you. That's what the deck is meant to do. I think he didn't gain anything, and what he did gain, the other blue decks got better. So he's just like a solid C tier deck. He still obviously will just steal wins and just bulldoze you with like no effort. But yeah, he's like high C.
I'm with you on that. I just don't understand why they didn't give him anything.
He got a lot last set. I think it's fair.
I guess
he did gain a lot.
Yeah, but he went from like unplayable in set 1 to like good in set 2 and then just like nothing again in set 3. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the only reason he's in C tier is because it's like hard to justify playing him with like the fact that you kind of need the high roll over any of the other blue decks, which are just going to be really good coming out of the gate.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, next leader we have Trunks. Trunks is my favorite leader to play right now in set 2. Really liking the vanilla thing. It's just a ton of fun. And I would love to put this in A, but I think it's just kind of top of B tier. I think this deck is going to be good. Like, yeah, I agree. I just think like it's a really good generic leader, and we got some generic good blue cards. But that's about it.
I think his lack of like heart, the best thing he gained this set was another cantrip that's an Earthling, cool.
Yeah.
Or not an Earthling,
No,
but
it's
another
not.
cantrip.
Yeah.
Yeah, Broly got the Earthling cantrip, but he gained a new cantrip, which is cool, and then he got access to play Videl, swing, add a card, bounce Videl, play Videl, swing, add a card. So now he can essentially turn like the peel-off loop that you'd spend 4 energy on sometimes into 2 additional attacks, but you pick up like less cards. It is like it did get something, but I think what it gained just keeps it in the format as opposed to like pushes it. So it's B tier decks are like I would expect B, A, and S decks to all be like the intermingling of top cuts or winning events. So I just say Trunks is about the same power level he was in comparison to the other decks.
Yeah, I agree with you. How is the matchup into like what's it called? Like the green decks, the newer green decks.
So I think he's really bad into Gingertown actually, which is funny.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I think Gingertown's actually a little too quick for blue as a whole, except one blue deck.
Okay.
People can be like, I can just sickle away Earthlings. It's really hard to take away the board when they're playing like 3 of them a turn. It's so hard to keep them off of a good. And if they get like a 3 Earthling Gingertown ramp, you just lose. So Cell is like really hard for blue decks to fight. Droids is a lot easier, I think. I think Droids is way easier for like Trunks than Broly or Piccolo.
Okay.
But Piccolo's another beast. We'll talk about that later. I think that his matchups in the green are mostly fine. I just don't see him. He didn't go up the ladder, so to speak. He just like kind of held his position. So he's still a good deck, but he's just not going to be like as crippling as Vegeta can be at times by forcing a super combo out of your hand by just breathing oxygen. He's not going to be as insurmountable as Zamasu can feel at times. And Zamasu, when he gains a bunch of card advantage, gets a lot better. So, and this whole set gave him a ton of card advantage. So realistically, that's why I have Trunks where he is. He just stayed where he was, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're a Trunks fan and you like playing Trunks and you're doing well with him now, you're gonna still do well with him. Like, don't think this means that he's not playable. He's very playable. He's very good, but he's just not quite at the same level I'd put like Vegeta for consistently winning or topping events.
Okay, that sounds great. I mean, I'm still gonna play Trunks. Trunks is great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna play him. He's cool.
Yeah, he's super cool. All right, the big bad of post Toppo set 2.
He's still S tier.
I agree.
It's something crazy. He gained 0 cards this set, and he's gonna stay right in S tier.
Yeah, he's so
like,
good.
Literally, he's not moving. He's fantastic deck, still really good. Arguably the best green deck. I don't see any reason this deck moves its spot. It's just good.
I am 100% with you. Really not much to say about it. They didn't really get much,
No.
but just really good.
I don't think they gained a single card. Like, the deck will go from set 2 to set 3, changing like nothing. You might, yeah, because the only Android 17 we got untaps a field.
Oh,
which
yes.
is like for Cell. So
yes.
the deck really gained 0 cards. It's just going to be the exact same deck from set 2, basically.
Huh.
You could put Gohan in here and that'd be okay, but I mean, you don't need to.
Wait, what's Gohan?
The secret rare.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, his card. Yeah, deck's great. Yeah. All right. Speaking of Gohan, next leader we have Gohan and
most improved deck.
I was about to say
yeah.
I think Gohan's gonna be really fun.
Gohan is the most improved green deck, I think, from set 2. He kind of came out of the gate really bad in set 2 after being the monster of set 1 with Broly.
Yeah.
Like, those 2 decks were just demolishing everybody. And then set 2, he gained like a really powerful card, but like every other green leader just got more value and advantage out of like everything else that green got. He'll be good. I think that he's definitely like a B tier deck now. This is the deck you have to put respect on, because you can just play the tanky Broly package, and then instead of getting access to like the 25k base, you're getting access to like every card in your deck basically having combo power. And he really likes the Gohan and Secret Rare. He really loves that card because it helps like keep his energy up to use his leader effect on defense. So he's very tanky. I think he's worse than Broly because he still has to deal with like the 20k spam and stuff like that. Like, getting the 35k really makes him good. Like, I'll put it this way, he will slaughter androids. This man will kill androids and other green decks, and that's why, like, one of the reasons you'll play Gohan, because being a 35k base on like the big this attack has to hit swing is huge. And the fact that he pushes 35k is huge. He's going to be really consistently ramping because now he can play Destructive Strength and 3-drop Goku. So he's going to find that 3 energy ramp, and the Secret Rare Gohan means he's going to almost always ramp on his 3rd energy, which is really, really powerful.
Is Gohan the only green deck that can beat Jiren?
I think Broly can too. I think Broly and Gohan both can, but that's because they like naturally play a really tanky game.
Sure.
And the longer the game goes for you, the better.
Okay.
No, Cell can if it's playing the new 8-drop, but that's
yeah,
like
but you might be dead by the time you get there. I don't know.
Yeah, Broly and Gohan both have a hard answer for 4-drop Jiren,
right?
So
right.
They can deal with him.
Yeah, I'm excited to try Gohan. I really did. I didn't play it at
times.
all. Set 2, I don't think. And
no, I think you had a video with it. I think
you're right.
Released a single video with
you're,
Gohan.
You're right. You're right.
And you're like, this deck's trash.
That's exactly what happened. All right, now. All right, next.
What D?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding. It's
holy cow.
I think Ginyu's actually going to be perfectly fine. I think it's like
C tier deck.
Bottom C. Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine.
Yep.
You're gonna play this at your locals. You're gonna beat people up with it. You're gonna win a few of them, and it's gonna be fun.
He did get the new Raccoon, which is quite good. That is
I
a
like
very
that
good card.
Raccoon. That's
Yeah,
the looter, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
He did get like he's gotten a card in both sets now, but sadly his set 2 card was just awful. But he's gotten a card in every set. He still does the thing that he's going to be doing really well. I think the problem is Jiren's entering the format, and he's going to be really bad against Black. Like,
Yeah.
ugh. I don't. I just think that Jiren entering the format and then Black running around. I don't think Ginyu has a hope against like the top of the format, but he'll probably do fine against like A, B, and C, except Broly.
I don't know. You can kind of beat both of the S decks, and then
Droids you can deal with, but I'm talking about when we finish laying out the list, you'll see what I mean about like.
Sure.
I don't think that he'll be doing very well.
Okay. So now we have Cooler. We can just put Cooler here and move on.
F is for fantastic. This deck is the coolest deck in the game. It's not good, but it is the coolest.
I mean, we had a really fun game where you played all the meta coolers and the new cooler
and then
card.
I just died.
Yeah, but it was cool because you can do the ability twice. Like that's pretty neat.
If Metacool, I'll be honest, if Metacooler played inactive, we'd be talking about this being like an A tier deck, but it does not. So you lose like 2 turns worth of tempo and discard a card basically.
But you're not discarding a card because you're just discarding the card that you're going to play anyway.
Yeah, you ditch the Metacooler, but you still go down the card in hand, and the card comes in rested, so you get no value out of it.
The rested part just sucks.
Yeah, honestly, that killed any hope of this being like really good. It is cool that you can do like the double restand, play 4 dudes in a turn. It's just bad. It just can't get there. He's just the worst deck.
All right, the Boogeyman of set 2.
I think he gained enough to be C tier.
Really?
He got a lot this set. He got the Kaba, he got the Kefla.
I just don't see any reason to play this over the other red decks, and that's why I think it's like top D. Like I don't know.
Playing a 50K for 1 is pretty powerful. And then you can
Who's the 50K for 1? Who's the 50K?
The
Vegeta's Tournament of Power?
Yeah.
Yeah, some cards are tournament. Some are, and some aren't. It's very weird.
Yeah, the Vegeta's a TOP, and then you've got access to the Kefla and the Kaba to reuse your 1 Kefla 4-drop now if you find it. I think the deck will be fine. It's like going to be like a solidly C tier deck. It's definitely above D. I can't give this deck that. It'll still be able to do exactly what it used to do, except it's lost Ribrianne. It'll still have like the issue with Awakening, but everything that it wants to do is greatly improved. And now when you discard your card to play Kaba can pick up a card that you discard. So he's essentially a 1 energy play, and that's really powerful.
That's kind of neat.
So I think that like Toppo is still he'll be fine. Like you could probably do okay with this deck. It's definitely not D tier though. It's like a C tier deck. He gained a lot coming into set 3. But you got to remember, he's never going to be back to his original self of power. That is gone.
Okay, I'll put him at the bottom of C. I don't see anyone ever playing this.
He got a lot though.
All right,
he really did.
Zamasu is next. You're a big fan of Zamasu.
I love Zamasu, man. I was playing this deck in Toppo format, and I was still doing well with it. Like, we would play games, you and me, and Zamasu would just tank everything.
Zamasu is just
forever.
Not my thing.
Yeah, it's not a deck that... I think it's a deck you actually have to really like playing. You have to be a really hard control fan to want to play this type of leader. I'm a big control fan. It's my favorite archetype.
That is just not me at all.
Yeah, I still think he's like an A tier deck. He competes well. He gained a lot this set. Card advantage was the one thing that he really struggled with, and that this set gave him quite a bit of it. Getting access to Videl was a big help. Getting access to another 1-drop cantrip. Just 1-drop cantrips are huge buffs for decks like this.
That I agree with. I like that a lot.
Yeah, he gained a lot of card advantage, and that was sorely his largest weakness in set 2, was eventually he just ran out of stuff and died. He doesn't have that problem now. He'll have cards for pretty much the whole game. The card quality is probably going to be the only thing in question, but he's blue, so he has really good cards. So I think he's just going to be like, he was already an A tier deck, like in set 2. He's just staying as an A tier deck in set 3, because he gained enough to just stay in this spot.
All right, I'm putting him below Vegeta, though.
I agree with that. I don't think he's better than Vegeta.
I think Vegeta just stomps on this deck.
Of course, he's a 35k swing. What do you? The leader who gains a bunch of power is going to beat the deck that relies on base power.
I didn't mean Vegeta just beats this. I just think Vegeta just like stomps in general over this. That's what I meant.
I don't think he stomps. I just think
like obviously a 35 base is gonna beat a 25.
I think it depends. I think it really depends. I feel Zamasu and Vegeta are quite good.
It's just not my thing. I had a lot of fun playing the vanilla version though. That was fun.
Yeah, I just think that he's in the same spot that he was in set 2, which is like solid A tier deck.
All right, you ready to talk about the best deck in the format?
Is it sponsored by Heatap?
It is sponsored by Heatap. Gingertown, baby. How good is Gingertown actually? Like let's just talk about that.
That's a hard one to answer. How good is Gingertown? So any game Gingertown resolves, you're the best deck.
Sure,
like,
right.
You even beat like GT Goku with SCR on the board. Pretty like that's how strong you are. It's pretty nuts. Gingertown got really consistent this set. It happens a lot. It really just depends how many you ramp. So if you're ramping like 3, it's not just like the most broken thing in the game because you got to remember half your deck's just like 1-drop Earthlings or Farmer.
Sure.
With Gingertown, so yeah. There's a good chance that, like, even if you Gingertown, you don't have like the top end to follow up with it. Any game that you hit like a 4 ramp and then you're just playing your 8-drop on like turn 4 and you're just slamming Broly after Cell, you're just crushing. But even with that aside, I still think Cell's just the B tier deck.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he's very, very good when he pops off. Arguably, like the same level of high roll power as Goku Black, but Cell's ceiling is so high that it's just the second you see Earthlings at the board, you immediately know what your opponent's doing, and your plan has to be remove every single one of them as fast as possible.
I think this is going to be one of the most fun decks I'm going to play.
Oh yeah,
I'm so excited to just get people.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Like you can go like play an Earthling, and then you can go like play a Raditz and tuck it, and then like next turn you can go like play a couple Earthlings and a Farmer, and then your final turn you just like Gingertown and like 4 guys. It's really funny.
Yeah, it sounds great. All right, so you said something crazy before about Yellow Vegeta.
I don't even think it's crazy. I think that him and Frieza are essentially the same deck now. I don't think that there's anything that Frieza's doing that's inherently better than what Vegeta's doing. I think they are basically at this point now the same deck. The only difference is, would you rather have the untapped 2 or would you rather have the energy for bigger defense against tall threats onto your face? Because you got to remember, your board isn't going to be contested. It's going to be Boos. They're not contesting your board. They're going to try to kill you because they have to. Vegeta is so much tankier than Frieza is because he has access to like Death Balls. He has access to Time Rewound. He's just so much tankier naturally that I think he's going to be able to be a 25k base essentially like against any of the matchups that he used to not be. He gained a lot this set. I think he is right. Him and Frieza are interchangeably in that slot in S tier. I think they are the same deck. It just depends on which flavor of the variant you'd like to play.
How good is the new Vegeta card?
It's very good. I think that 3-drop Vegeta is just it's a 25k with combo power. It gives you 5k for the turn. Which means you still get to keep the 1-up to like defend it if you need to with a Time Rewound if they try to go into it or your face. Just being able to be a 25k base really reliably on top of boarding good attackers, Buu, the 4-drop Majin Vegeta, the 3-drop Vegeta now is also a 25k. He just has a lot going for him, and he didn't lose. He lost nothing and gained everything. Like everything that was a weakness about this deck, he has filled out in this set.
I still don't see it, but.
Well, hold on. Let's ask what makes it so that you don't think he's at least as good as Frieza? What is because the only difference between the two really is Frieza has the ability to sometimes draw more with Bulma, which is going to be a lot harder to do in this format with the amount of removal running around.
Okay.
So that's like his biggest advantage is getting to Bulma on his turn and then Bulma on your turn. The Bulming on your opponent's turn is going to be exceedingly rare in the upcoming format. So the biggest advantage he gains is you can't attack his battle cards.
Sure.
Vegeta's untapping 2 energy, which allows him to be both utilitarian on offense and defense because Death Ball literally answers the 3-drop Bardock in black. It hard counters that card.
Oh, it actually does. You're right, because they have to untap immediately. You're right.
Yep.
You're right.
And then they tap it back down. So like Vegeta already has like a shtick and a huge advantage against the black Bardock deck, who's actually trying to use that as one of his primary aggressive cards.
What are the new extra cards that it gained though?
It didn't need to gain new extra cards. It just needed to gain access to good battle cards. So it gained Buu, and it gained access to 3-drop Vegeta, and it gained Majin Vegeta. All those are fantastic cards. Frieza
Okay.
also gained those, but the big advantage is now with Vegeta having cards he doesn't have to use time rewound on and have to defend as hard, he can actually just play stuff like Buu and then hold all of his defense for himself, which makes him significantly harder to kill than Frieza. But they're going to have about the same card advantage. The only difference is Vegeta's going to be a 25k base sometimes.
All right, I'm seeing it now. All right, we'll put it here. You said they're interchangeable, right? We'll just put
Yeah,
it.
they can
This
be
is
in
fine.
like the same. They could literally be in the same spot.
All right, this is the one I'm gonna have to try out a lot.
He's definitely there.
Okay. All right, we're finally on to the new cards. That took so long. All right, let's talk about the fun shiny new things. We're gonna start with Jiren, and Jiren felt we played a game. You were playing Jiren. This deck felt impossible to beat playing green.
See, I think that's again like your very. It was like your first game, right? And
Yeah, I
the
was playing
set, and we were
Piccolo.
playing, like just set locked basically.
Yeah,
So I'll come out and say that's likely due to one, not having access to the full card pool, two, not knowing how to fight the deck.
you can't beat, like, green has a really hard time beating the 4-drop. And if that 4-drop sticks and attacks, like this deck does a
If
lot of cool things.
if you have to rely on attacking Jiren 4 to kill it, you can't remove it.
Yeah.
That's like the problem because Saved by a Barrier is absolutely going to be ran in every Jiren deck. There's no questions asked.
Yeah, you keep
They're
saying
going to
that.
be
Yeah.
playing that card. Yeah, they're every Jiren deck is going to run that card, which means like if your only way to remove the 4-drop is to attack it, you literally cannot do that. Um, so green is already going to struggle, but that's like if your deck just beats green, does that make you an A tier deck? Because you don't just beat yellow for free. They can actually answer you. They can just kill you. Um, you don't. You just have a hard matchup against blue, and you have a hard matchup against black. And other red decks can literally minus your Jiren, so you lose the effect.
Oh, that's true.
Like if they
You're
make him a
right.
25k, you don't. So I
You're right.
honestly I'm gonna get flack for this. Jiren's like a B tier deck.
I love that.
Yeah, I think Jiren is like actually just like a solidly B tier deck. I want him to be higher, but there's nothing wrong with a B tier deck because like this deck will hunt and prey on every green deck in the room pretty hard, by the way.
Yeah.
And he'll have a pretty good matchup into yellow. I don't think it's like super favored, but he is definitely favored into yellow. Like looking at my spreadsheet, he's um yeah, he pretty much is favored in yellow. He's about a 55 to a 60% based on which leader he's playing against in the
Like
yellow.
even
So he's
even
pretty good
Vegeta.
in the yellow, but his green matchups are super good. Vegeta's actually like the one that's even. That's like the 50-50 because you can stun down his aggressive with his
Right, right.
aggression
That's what I was
counter roll.
thinking. Yeah.
So like that's like the big advantage there. But the big things for Jiren are when you get into the green matchups. We're looking at like 60% versus Droids, 73% versus Piccolo. Like he just cooks these green decks. The only ones that he has a hard time with, 55% in a Broly, and then 53% into Gohan. And that's really just because Gohan has access to a smaller card that can remove the 4-drop Jiren.
Yeah.
That's really the big thing there. And Cell is like he's like 58% in the Cell. So I mean that's really good in the like most of green decks, but he's just crushing Piccolo and droids, just crushing them. They can't do anything about it. So the only green decks that can actually fight him are all in B tier, which is the same tier he's in. So realistically, the only decks you're trying to beat with Jiren if you're playing him is Frieza, droids, and Boo.
I mean,
Maybe.
if Frieza and Droids are the top decks again, like this could be really good. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm with
but
you.
I don't think Frieza and droids are the top decks. I think this
I
is the top
I'm
deck.
so excited for this one.
I
Please,
think
please tell me.
please this might be, so I don't think there's a definitive best deck this set. I don't think we have a like deck that I can just say is the best deck. Um I think this deck is very good. I think it's extremely good. This deck does everything you want it to do. It has obscene board control. It has good pressure. It cheats cost. It sees more cards than any deck besides Bardock. This deck just does everything you want it to do. It's fantastic in every single conceivable way. It plays like the best. Any good blue card can just be slotted into this leader. Being able to do stuff like swing with your leader, draw 2, stack a Satan City. And I'm not talking about full archetype. I'm just talking about playing like a small Satan City package. You stack a Satan City. So say you stack your Gohan. Then you go ahead and you play Hercule. You swing with Hercule. You reveal the Gohan off the top of your deck. You then -2 a guy on their board. Like, so say they had like a 5 and a 3. You turn that 5 into a 3, and then you use your field. You play the Gohan. You bot deck both of them. You just boarded a 30K. You can do so
That sounds
many
insane.
crazy things. This deck can do so many crazy things under curve and just mollywop you, and it's super consistent. This deck's just fantastic. It does everything every blue deck does, with the exception of swinging a giant leader at you. But it sees the most cards and has like the easiest way cheating, and then it's super tanky on top of it, being able to go to a 30K base, like at will essentially. This leader is absolutely fantastic. He's been an enormous monster in testing, boasting a 50% win rate against essentially every deck.
Wow, really?
He's been just astounding.
What's the worst matchup so far?
Bardock.
It is? Okay, all right.
It's literally
that's
Bardock,
exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah. Okay. Cool.
So he is just an absolute monster. He is irrefutably an S tier deck. He is going to be S and stay an S for. I could see him being an S for another set.
I mean, it's just a really good generic leader. Like it's just it brainstorms. It's so cool.
He's generic. The brainstorming is cool because we have synergy with it too, like in this set,
right?
So you can like we gained a lot of benefit for the brainstorm. And the cool thing about half the cards that like check the top card of your deck, they don't remove it, so it just kind of sits there, which is super good in the situation where you're like trying to do stuff with Hercule and whatnot, and then like minus cost, and Hercule being a card that can -2 and then makes your opponent have to remove it, because if they don't, you get to do it again next turn. The fact that your opponent has to attack a 5K with like their leader sometimes to remove it from the board is just hilarious. Yeah. He's just really powerful. I have him at the top of S tier. I think that's where he's gonna sit. He's just great.
That's really exciting. Okay, so this has like been my hardest one to evaluate just in general. Piccolo. Piccolo felt really weird playing it. Again, it was a weird game, but I don't know. I feel like Piccolo wants to play lower curve cards and then just like use your leader as your bomb, but I don't even know if that's good enough against like if you're going to be playing like an aggressive or mid-range green deck, it's probably better just to play anything else. Kind of just how I feel.
Well, Piccolo does a lot of really good things. Like I have Piccolo as, aside from droids, he's an A tier for me.
A tier. Wow.
Yeah, the things that Piccolo does really well. He's actually a monster. Like there's a lot of games where you're like, you do play it low to the ground. Like your top end. I play no Brolys in my deck. No,
yeah, that's
Brolys
what I was gonna
themselves.
ask. So what is your top end? Is it your 6 drops?
It's 6-drop Piccolo basically. I don't even play Goku anymore. I like cut Goku. Like 6-drop Goku's not even in the deck. My top end is like 6-drop Gohan, 6-drop Piccolo. That's like where I curved out.
6-drop Gohan? Which one?
Yes.
Oh, that's so exciting. All right, I'm down. All right, I'm down. It's going right here.
So, before you continue, my favorite play in this deck is you on your 8 energy turn, you just play a secret rare, right? Or on your 7 energy turn, you play a secret rare. You don't attack with it. It just sits there. It's cool. It's chill. Then you go ahead and you swing with your leader, right? You draw your card, and they're like, okay, cool. He's just a 20K base. He doesn't even have his effect.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And then you Earth destroying blow. Yeah. You go straight to 65, and your opponent's like, oh my god.
That's so sick.
And then if you hit, you just play another secret, and then you swing 60 again. Oh my god, this deck's so good.
How did it do into red?
It did fine. It does perfectly fine. You kind of aren't putting stuff on the board that like you don't care if it dies. You don't care if like what you're playing sticks. So like what the cards that you're playing are stuff that you're trying to do proactively to aggress your opponent. And still hard minusing 30K is still kind of hard for red to do. So like 6-drop Piccolo oftentimes will just be ignored, because if they have to resort to KOing it, you get a life. So if they can minus it to death, it's fine. But again, 30K is hard for red to just say delete with just minusing effects.
Okay.
So even if you look at like Rumshi like KOs it. Goku plus Beerus effect would be a KO. Yeah. There's not a lot of ways that red just hard minuses this to death without like committing a lot to the board, that you can't just like immediately crack back your opponent's face and just beat them to death. So I think Piccolo is actually an astoundingly good deck. I think people who like have been putting him a little bit lower just haven't like found the idea of playing him with like a low curve, not trying to play 8-drop Brolys, because you don't need him in this deck. The leader will be your 8-drop Broly.
Yeah, that's what I'm having trouble with too.
Yeah, it's like you go to build green, you immediately put your Broly's in, thinking that that's like a card you're trying to. Even though you are actively working for 8 energy, you want that 8 energy to do a lot more. Because I'll put it this way: we'll just assume that you're playing Piccolo, Beam Cannon, and Secret Rare, right? That's already 8 energy. That's significantly more threatening than playing a Broly.
I
Like
see.
it's
Okay.
because you boarded a 30k, a 20k, and your leader is going to be 70k twice. That is
Sure.
8 energy, and
Yeah.
that is way better than anything that Broly does. You also killed a guy, and you're going to draw an additional card for your leader's second swing. So the deck does a lot more with the energy instead of just like tap 8, play dumb, play big dumb idiot. So I think this deck's very good. It'll be a little bit. I think it'll probably be like 2 or 3 tournaments where people really pick this deck up and start like realizing, oh, you play it really low ground and under curve. Once that's figured out, I think the deck will start performing a lot better. But I definitely have it in A tier. I think it's a very, very good deck.
How good is it to put it in A tier? Like, is it middle, low, high? I still just have
It's
no idea how to rate this.
I think it's like middle-ish.
Okay.
Middle-ish is probably fine. I don't think our A tier is like actually flushed where it's sitting right now. I think like Vegeta should probably be higher. Like Vegeta above Piccolo, U7 below Piccolo.
Sure.
That's like how I have it. Yeah.
Yeah. How fast is the ramping?
It's reasonable. I mean, you can ramp pretty quick. Like on 2 you could just play like Gohan, swing on 3, ramp that way. He got his own ramp card, so you could play that and destructive strength and just have access to like a whole bunch of ramp. But if you do that, you can't play beam cannon. Um,
Right.
so you got to make a lot of concessions with the deck with how you intend to ramp. If you're gonna ramp through battle cards, stuff like Raditz, for example, then you have to make like a concession that you're not going to be doing stuff like going for like big beam cannon plays or EDB. So you have to make a lot of concessions when you're building this deck. And I think that once you realize like the form that you want to play your Piccolo deck, like you want to be low ground with the extra cards being your pressure, or do you want to be like low ground and all of your ramp being built into like battle cards like Raditz, you can do that. I think that he's just very good. I think he's a fantastic deck. The second you kind of like start cracking the code,
See, the way I want to build it is I want to put Piccolos and Kamis in it and do
that was
that.
fine too. I did try that. I
You
thought that was
okay?
okay. I don't think it's as good as just playing Raditz,
Sure. All right.
but it's fine.
Okay. All right. I'm excited to try Piccolo now. Thank you for that.
Yeah, dude. I think Piccolo's gonna be great.
All right. Now we got Boo. And Boo is just like, I don't know. Boo is another one. I don't really know how to rate. This could be like fine because getting free 2 drops is cool, but I also could see it just like being really.
I don't think it's like complete dog tier like Cooler, but I think the problem with this deck is you have like no combo power, and one of the
Yeah.
big problems with that being is like when you play a Boo, your opponent just goes face. They just try to kill you.
That's pretty much what has happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't have a lot of combo power, you kind of just die. Because at the end of the day, you are just boarding 25k attackers, and you have to be able to defend your life at that point because all fires come into your face. So I think this deck doesn't gain enough from the free played cards, or you're just using the effect to play cantrips and hoping to God that you can stave off pressure that way.
I see. I
Um,
like the field. I think the field has some pretty cool utility, and then you play your cards off a Boo and then freeze things. I think that's pretty neat. Like I can see that being decent, but that's really
yeah,
really all I'm at.
I think he's the only D tier deck. I think my problem with him is he doesn't have the combo power to stave off aggression from any of like the other decks. Like 30k's just eat you alive. You have to give up like so much hand. Like how does this deck fight U7?
That's a good point. I don't know.
Like how do you fight 30k's? What do you do against Vegeta just swinging 35 into your face? Like you gotta understand,
Yeah.
you're a 20k. If he was a 25k base leader, didn't draw and just played a dude at the end of the turn, I think he would have actually been way better. Because like then at least the 5ks you were playing would at least be putting you to 30, and just going to 25k is really bad. When like 80% of your deck is 5ks. Like that's a huge problem for this leader because like, you have to play a surplus of these like mediocre cards, and if you don't play a surplus of them, sometimes you can whiff on your leader effect, and then that's even worse.
Yeah, I guess
So
you're right.
I think he's like I just don't see him being like that great. He's definitely better than Cool Air, but that's not a high bar.
All right.
um
I'm with you.
yeah, I just think his the fact that he has to fit too many very mediocre cards. Some of them are good. Like honestly, like the blocker Deborah is really good. The 2-drop Bobbity is really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the super combo was a searchable card off the Bobbity, I actually would have said this deck could be like a CB tier deck. But because he can't find his defense and he can't maneuver his turns in a way that he's being like really pressuring and still tank up, I think that hurts him. And the fact the only card that he's boarding that's even remotely scary is Boo, and then he's not like doing anything else to protect himself is a problem.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like this could. I think this could be good against the other yellow decks, but I don't really see it being good against. Yeah, I don't see you ever beating a red deck. Blue.
Like
Yeah.
red cooks you, blue cooks you. Trunks probably beats you. Green probably slaughters you. I don't know like how
Yeah.
you're gonna be fighting like
You're just not
Gohan
fast
and even
enough. Yeah.
yeah. It's just you don't have the pressure and the explosiveness of Ginyu, and you're playing a lot of 5K. Like that's the thing with Ginyu, you're playing a lot of 5Ks, but you can deploy them all very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can trade your defense for like a really good way to kill your opponent. Boo doesn't do that. He's like, I'm gonna board a guy, and then at the end of my turn, I'm gonna play a dude, hope you can't remove it so it gets to attack you. And it just too much adds up, I think, to negatively impact this deck. And as cool as it is, and how sick the alt art for this leader is, it's tragic that it ended up here.
Right. All right, so we're finally on to our new color. We're gonna start with the starter deck, since we started with the starter decks earlier. And I think this is gonna be my new favorite leader. I think this card is so cool. I just love what the leader does. I like what the deck does. It's so fun. This was the most fun I've had testing a deck.
Oh, hold on, wait. I just want to point out, chat's saying a bad Boo leader. He's not a bad leader. It was the card pool that hurt him. The leader actually is good. I want to reiterate that. The leader is actually like the leader actually is a really good effect. The problem is like they just printed a lot of very mediocre bad cards for him. Just to make that clear. Like the Boo leader himself, like if we're just gauging him, he would be like a solid B, C tier leader. But the cards that he's forced to play suck, so he's kind of in D tier because of like he's forced into a card pool that's bad and doesn't get enough out of it. Unlike this leader that we're about to discuss.
Yes, exactly.
So here we go. I'm gonna come out and say it. I think he's the best black deck. He's an S tier.
I'm with you.
I think that he's better than GT Goku, which we'll get to in a minute, and I'll explain why, because I'm probably gonna get some flack for this. GT Goku is absurd in the event that your 4-drop secret rare goes untouched. If you board a 4-drop secret rare and it lives, you're definitely better than Bardock. Like, it's no question. You're getting like a free 15k every turn, just extra power on whatever you want. It can even be the 3-drop Bardock, and it starts getting out of hand really quickly. You get this massive hand. You've got the influx of being able to go like SCR, Pan, and then you get like the extra 15k on top of that to make Pan swing for like 35 or swing for 30. So he can get a lot of extra value. Bardock, on the other hand, doesn't have any such problems of like, I need to see my secret rare in order to be a good deck. He's going to be able to swing for 10k required on essentially every leader with the exception of the 25k bases. And as you see, there isn't a 25k base at the top tier of this list, and there's only one in the top 2 tiers. Which means he's automatically putting another card out of your hand or ripping an important card out of your hand with just the leader's swing. The leader naturally scries, which makes him extremely consistent in comparison to even all the other leaders on this list. He actually is matching the consistency of the blue Goku leader because he is swinging, drawing, scrying, and that's the same thing as drawing 2 and putting 1 from your hand on top of your deck, essentially, in terms of seeing cards.
Mm-hmm.
Then on top of that, you have the field. The field is going to dig an extra card deeper every turn. So you'll swing, draw, look at the top 2, arrange them in any order you want, top, bottom them, so you can go 4 cards deep if you really want, and then you get the chance comboing with the top card of your deck. Now that combo effect doesn't have to be on the leader swing, it can be on any attack, which means Bardock naturally swings a 5k up on you, and then he can do something like play 1-drop Skillish Shugesh and make it a 25k swing for free. That's really powerful when he's not having to give up a card from his hand to do that. He's able to get extra pressure on any card he wants, and he still gains the benefit of, I'm playing black, if I board Goku Secret Rare, I'm likely just going to win if you don't remove it. The downside of Goku GT is he has to board the Goku Secret Rare in order to feel better than Bardock. Bardock just feels good, period. He just feels good throughout the whole game. And I know people are gonna be like, oh, but you're playing all these like bad crew cards.
Yeah, it
They're
just
just
doesn't matter.
free 10Ks.
Yeah.
They're free 10Ks.
Yeah.
Like literally. And the cool thing, like unlike the Vegeta deck, we'll compare him to say Blue Vegeta. Bardock can, at worst, swing for 35K, which is what Vegeta does. That's good.
That's great.
Like that's already, and he doesn't have to have a hand size requirement. You can have like a 12 card hand and still swing for 35, or you can swing 25 with your leader, swing with another battle card, and put a free 10 on that or a free 5 on that, and that's a humongous extra. That's a humongous extra push and tempo as well. So he acts like multiple leaders built into one, which is really he's like stacked as a leader. He has like everything you want. He swings for a stage up naturally, which means even against the 25k leaders, you don't have to give up any cards to hit them. He digs deep, which means he's very consistent. He finds more cards than the other black deck by a substantial margin.
Right.
His field, which I think was a card a lot of people initially overlooked, that card is cracked.
Yeah, I overlooked that card, and then I put it in the deck like you told me to, and it was insane.
That card is crazy
So
powerful.
even so, this is what a lot of people also aren't getting. Even when you miss off Bardock, like you have to do it like blindly, and you miss, you still get to scry one, and that's really good.
Yeah, it's making you more consistent. So, like, say that was a card you didn't want to draw, you just bot deck it, and now you might draw a card that you want. So you essentially get to control what you're drawing, and when you have the field, you can control what you draw and what you combo, which is really powerful because then you can swing, you draw a card blind, then you activate the field. Always do that, by the way, and then you look at the top two. You can put one that you're going to combo on top, the one that you're going to draw for your turn on the bottom, underneath it, because they have to both go to the same spot, the top or the bottom. And then after you do that, you go next turn, or you combo the card that you wanted to go combo with on top, and then you combo it. Then you draw the card that you wanted to draw on the following turn. Yep. So he gets to dig 3 to 4 cards deep at times, or that can be a card that you're going to draw off your secret rare. So you can control like this card's going to get comboed, and then I want to draw that super combo. So you can do stuff like that. So don't think that Bardock still has value even if he whiffs, still has substantial value because he's still forced to 10k by just proxy of existing.
Yeah.
He still plays Black's best cards. There's no black card that Goku's playing that he isn't that's particularly significantly better. And on top of that, he gets to push free 10ks, which Goku typically has to pay an energy for. This is why the SCR is so important for Goku. Because then that energy is free and he's not having to actually give it up. Bardock doesn't have to give up any energy to push that 10k. He just gets it. Now, the big advantage that we'll talk about when we get to Goku is that you can do it it works for both turns, but that's completely irrelevant when you're talking about getting to push a stage with your leader and up to 2 stages on another card that's attacking. That's way better than making one card gain power, with the exception of the dual attacking Bardock.
Yep, I'm with you.
Oh, yeah, another thing. You can make the 5-drop Bardock kill stuff for only 1 card committed from your hand.
Oh, yes. That's really cool.
That's a huge deal.
And the best part, and the coolest thing about Black is you have 8 cantrips. So you can then combo with the cantrips too, which is so good.
And like people probably don't even realize how good the 2-drop Bardock is. It just gains power when you combo a card.
Oh, that card's great. The promo,
yeah. That card's insane.
That card was so fun.
Yeah, he's a fantastic leader. I think he's better in most situations than GT Goku. And I initially was on the GT Goku hype train. I initially was like, I really like Bardock, but I think it's going to be GT Goku. And I put way more games into Bardock. And as I kept playing, I was like, this is just the black deck. This is the black deck. Both decks are good. I think GT Goku is like also an A tier deck, like a top of A tier deck, which you might as well just put him there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can talk about that now.
Yeah, I think he's black, which means he's automatically just very good. Black is very good this set. It gained a lot. It has removal. So against Jiren, you can just use the pan to remove the Jiren. You don't really care about it. You can use pan to remove like half the stuff in all these decks. Bardock kills anything, which is fantastic that we have a 5-drop that indiscriminately just kills any card in the game, basically.
Right.
And it gets the combo stuff for free. Like, Black gained a lot. It really did. The 3-drop SR Goku is like a stunning card that you would just read at first glance and not think it's crazy, but you gotta think if you play it with the energy marker, it comes in, it replaces the energy. It was basically a 2-drop 25k that drew a card. Crazy. Like, Black is really powerful. And I think for Black's first showing, getting like a top tier deck and another deck that's also extremely good, also considerably top tier, is a fantastic first showing.
What's the hardest matchup for both the black decks?
So fun fact, you're gonna like this. In my spreadsheet, it is GT Goku does worse into Bardock. Actually, fun fact.
Sure, I can see that.
And he does worse into Blue Goku than
Okay.
Bardock does.
Oh,
Bardock does better into Blue Goku and much better into the 25k base leaders.
yeah,
Um, like he,
that makes
boy,
sense.
Bardock has a 68% win rate against Zamasu.
I love that so much.
So, uh, he just mollywops Zamasu, and that's over 18 games. So,
Wow. Okay.
um, yeah, so he just demolishes Zamasu. So GT is very good. Um, there's nothing wrong with playing GT. I just think that the fact that GT is really reliant on getting the secret rare, finding it, playing it, and making it stick. If he does that, he's like a Z tier deck. He's insane. But the odds of you doing that in this format, like look at what we have here, right? Black can remove it, blue can easily remove it, yellow can remove it now, green can remove it because I think every green deck, with the exception of maybe droids, is going to be
Five
playing
drop Gohan.
yeah, 5-drop Gohan, which
Yeah.
I think is a very important card this format. Red can remove it. Like every single color in the top echelon of the game can remove that card. And if your reliance on power is that card existing to be at your absolute peak, it's super unlikely that it does. Um, Bardock does not have that weakness. He can play literally anything and start cracking you open with it. He can go like 3-drop Bardock, swing his leader, go 25, look at or draw a card, look at the top card with the field, arrange them in any order he wants, put them back on top, play 3-drop Bardock, swing at you with that, combo a 10k for free off the top of his deck, making it a 30k. It restands and draws the second card that you stacked, and then he gets to swing and combo the card that you just drew again. So you basically get to go like combo 2 cards for free on that Bardock. So he's just 30k dual attack for 3, which is insane. That's an
Yeah.
insane card.
Yeah.
Like you get a whole lot more value out of Bardock than you do GT Goku as the game progresses, and that's really, I knew this was going to be like the largest talking point in this entire video, was like which one of the black decks is better. I just think that because he has less reliance on seeing the secret rare and playing the secret rare and making it stick, which you still absolutely play 4 of the secret rare in both of these decks.
Yeah, that's going to be really frustrating to open those in packs.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you still are playing 4 of the secret rare. The big
Yeah.
difference is Bardock just has less reliance on that card than Goku does, and he's going to be better in any situation that it's not played. That's really it. Other than that, they're doing essentially the same thing.
Bardock will be the first deck I play. I'm so excited. All right, so we have no Z tier deck, obviously. This is not a top coup format. We do not have a definitive best deck, which is wonderful because I hate that.
Yeah, some people will be like, well, you have the top of S tier. I think I'm gonna be honest. I think every single deck in S tier like is almost sharing the same spot. They're all very good. I think they're
Yeah.
all super close. Like Frieza and Vegeta are completely interchangeable. Droids is just droids. They're still good. Bardock is just fantastic. I also want to point out that I like that we have 2 new decks walked their way into S tier. Like I'm really happy
Oh,
that
yeah, yeah,
2
yeah.
new,
That's
yeah,
nice.
like 2 decks from set 3 kind of walked in there, and we still have starter decks performing well. That 1 leaders
Yeah.
performing well. Like that's what I like seeing. I like seeing when, I don't like when the new set comes out and it's just all of them just getting in like the top section, or like 3 of them getting in the top section, none of the other ones do anything. I think we have a good mix. I mean, the worst appearance we have from this set is Boo, and I think that the only thing holding him back was they just weren't willing to make just slightly better cards for him. That's not a bad showing.
I mean,
I
they
think
gave him
Boo
the
was
best card in
still,
the set. That's probably why.
yeah, he did. He got the best card in the set, bar none. Like, but so did every yellow deck. If that card was locked to him, he'd be an A tier deck, straight up, just A tier, because just having access to that card would have been crazy. But it was not. So unlucky for us. We have to deal with Vegeta playing it and Frieza playing it. So big sad. But yeah, all these every deck that we have here, I think all the S tier decks are going to be decks that you'll see a lot. You'll see GT Goku for sure. You're going to see every deck in A tier for sure. Like I said, the only one I'm like a little bit unsure on 100% is Piccolo. I feel he's an A tier deck in all my games with him. He did very well, and
Yeah.
I think that when I started playing him lower end, he felt a lot better. So like that's like he could even be swapped with Broly, and I think that'd be fine.
Oh,
But
sure. Okay.
yeah, but I think that's kind of like where I have him. He's definitely in my book, aside from Droids, the best green deck. Um, but it's hard to say if that's exactly where he'll fall. It very well could be likely that he's just another B tier deck with Broly, and he just doesn't even belong in that section. But I think he's good enough after the games I played, and I'm willing to make that my hot take of the set is that he's there. And some people would be like, well, the Bardock take's pretty hot, but I don't think it is.
All right, thanks again, Cody, for doing this with me. You have a ton more experience in this format than I do. You have like, what was it, 200 games?
It's like 187.
I don't know where you get the time for that.
Bro, I literally just hit the pen when I get home from work and just start gaming.
That's awesome. All right, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.